It's no secret by now that DC movies are not doing well at the box office at all. Their latest movie that came out, Blue Beetle, is a massive flop. That's the only way to put it. It's barely crawling along, and it's about to hit streaming if it hasn't already by now. So that's pretty much it for that at the box office. It may make a little bit more money here and there, but it's not going to break any records. It's not going to be anything fantastic. And this has stirred up a lot of talk about how fans abandoned the DCEU, where have all the DC fans gone, all of this. So there's this article from the Hollywood Reporter, and the article asks, where have all the DC fans gone? After a string of bombs and with a reboot on the horizon, Warner Brothers has to do more than make fans believe a man can fly. It has to make them believe that this time there's a willingness to see that flight to its destination. Now, let me go through a few things I want to talk about in regards to what happened with the DCEU. Right? I want to see if I could break down my thoughts exactly on why this has happened. Now, I will not say that fans have abandoned DC. I will say that fans have abandoned superhero movies. No. I think people are just tired of crap. That's it. People are just tired of crap. Now, when you look at DC, or should I say DCEU, in comparison to the MCU, there's a difference, and I will try to explain exactly what this difference is. In regards to DC, when DC decided to come on board to start their own superhero universe, they were behind the MCU. Now, that should have been an opportunity for them to grow slowly, so they would have the opportunity to make movies and produce stuff and do something good, but they didn't. And that was the beginning of the problem for them. But in regards to, let's say, the MCU, for instance, the MCU, well, the early days of the MCU, not this god-awful mess that it has become. No, let's just concentrate on the MCU from phase 1 to phase 3, and it ended off with Avengers Endgame. Let's concentrate on that. The MCU actually had a plan for where it wanted to go. It was basically following the basics of, let's say, Marvel's Ultimates universe. That's how it started off. All the stories that we were getting for like Iron Man, Captain America, and things like that came from the Marvel's Ultimate universe. That's where it came from. They decided to work with that as the point for it. Now, was it perfect? No, there were certain problems here and there, but they actually had a plan as to what they were doing. They knew that they wanted to build up to the Infinity Saga, the Infinity Stones, do this sort of stuff, get to the Avengers, everything. So they started off with Iron Man, Captain America, brought in Hulk, Black Widow, all of this stuff. Then they did the Avengers, and they started to do these movies step by step, leading up to somewhere, because they knew exactly where it is they wanted to go. By comparison, when you look at DC, they didn't have a damn clue where they wanted to go from the beginning. Now let's look at Man of Steel, because that's what started off in DCEU, right? Now, like I said before, I liked certain things about Man of Steel, and there were certain things I did not like about Man of Steel. Right? There were certain things I liked about it, certain things I did not like about Man of Steel. But I was literally ready to say, well, okay, certain things here were okay, certain things there, not so much. But when you actually stop and take an objective view of Man of Steel, you have to ask one very important question. Where the hell was it going? And you really don't have much of an answer for it, because the first movie, controversial, yes, Superman-like somewhat, but not exactly. And that was kind of the problem. They didn't they didn't take anything from these classic superhero stories to make something. That was also the problem. Like no, like I said with the MCU, they took from the Ultimates universe. They took Civil War. They took the Infinity Saga. All these things to structure together as to where they wanted to go. When it came to the DCEU, they didn't do that. Man of Steel, stuff, you had no idea what the hell it was doing, and you had no idea where it was going. After that, we had Batman v Superman, which is still to this day a movie I have a problem with, because Batman was just a bigot, but you didn't bring in Batman well at all. Yes, you had Ben Affleck as Batman. Okay, he could have been a damn good Batman had you decided to do it correctly, but you didn't do that. You didn't do that. What you could have done was go with a Batman Year One story, a Superman Man of Steel from the comic book origin story. You could have done a Wonder Woman origin story. Yes, Wonder Woman had a movie, it made some money, but I personally didn't like it. And then what did we get after that? Wonder Woman 1984, a movie till this day I have never been able to finish watching because it's so terrible. When we finally did get to the Avengers, you're wondering what in God's name is really going on here, because you rushed from movie 1 to movie 2 to movie 3, Avengers. But actually it was more movie 1, movie 2. It was more movie 1, movie 2, Justice League. As I said, Avengers story, Justice League. Then we got the what kind of listeners? But you weren't even sure. I think more that you didn't even get you didn't even get the Zack Snyder Justice League movie until years later. But then after that, no, like I said, in regards to Wonder Woman movie came about. Okay, so some people liked it. I wasn't a big fan. Then you had Wonder Woman 1984. Where the hell was that movie going? Where was that movie going? Then you had Suicide Squad. Where the hell was that going? Was that making any kind of sense at all? No. After that, you had what else? You had you had what, Shazam, that and all. While it was, when it was an okay interpretation of the Shazam story, it wasn't going anywhere. And then after you suddenly get a string of, because DC had no plan in place for what they wanted to do. Then the whole talk came about how they wanted to get rid of Henry Cavill as Superman to replace him with Supergirl Sasha Calle, who was in the Flash movie. Yeah, I don't know if that bombed the hat, but her performance in the Flash movie was not terrible, but it just wasn't making sense at all. Like everything else in that movie wasn't making sense. Plus, they wanted to bring in, wanted to get rid of Batman to bring in Batgirl. And a string of other things they wanted to do that made absolutely no goddamn sense. And they ruined themselves over and over because they had no plan going forward. So everything was just one jumbled mess. Like I said, DC started late with their extended universe. They had time to slowly build, watch what was happening to Marvel, and when Marvel started to screw up, say, you know what, we don't have to go down that road, let's stick to what works, let's stick to what the fans are going to like, and build on that. No, they abandoned that completely and decided to enter into the realm of woke. And when that was not good enough for them, they tried to push the wokeness even harder. You had movies like Black Adam came out. Was that a Black Adam movie? No, that was basically just the Rock with lightning fingers and floating a lot. That was it. Then you had the god-awful Harley Quinn, you had the god-awful Birds of Prey, and the Emancipation of Harley Quinn. That movie made no flicking sense. Another movie I've never finished watching it. It was just terrible. Absolutely terrible. And it's just one string of terrible movie because DC just didn't care. They weren't interested in putting out stories that fans love. You have some of the greatest superhero stories ever that you could very well adapt to the big screen, but you didn't want to do that. You wanted to tell your own stories whatever one you wanted, and just use the character's name to draw people in. And when you see the fans came, so garbage, and they got upset about it. No, you didn't decide to say, you know what, let's listen to them and backtrack. No, let's keep putting out crap and let's enjoy ourselves. It was ridiculous. It is ridiculous, and it continued to be that way. So DC destroyed themselves with their own nonsense because they weren't listening to their fans. So the question isn't, where have all the DC fans gone? The question actually is, where have all the DC stories and movies gone? There is a reason that the Christopher Reeve Superman movie is still considered by practically everybody to be the best Superman movie and possibly the only Superman movie ever. And I'm just referring to Superman 1 and 2. You know the others, but that's, they don't want to talk about that. But, Superman 1 and 2, there's a reason it's considered to be the best. There's a reason for that. They took story and they tried to do that, and that's the best that they could to do something with it. You're not doing that at all. Like I said before, if you really stop and look objectively at Man of Steel, the question is, where does it go? Where can fans go to get some kind of relevant DC, relevant movies or TV shows? I mean, if it's really that go TV wise, WB had their whole thing. They were doing some interpretations of DC movies and stuff like that, of DC characters and stuff in the story. They destroyed everything. Flash started off really good, destroyed that. Arrow destroyed that. They brought in crappy shows like Naomi that nobody watched. You understand me? This other thing, Gotham Knights, which was a colossal failure from the first episode. Then you have the animated stuff. Batman, the animated series, still one of the best, if not the best comic book adaptation of any kind of animated story ever. We even got Harley Quinn from that. Okay. Superman, the animated series, I was not 100% big fan of it, but still, we got live wire, certain parts of it were okay. Justice League had some complaints here and there, but overall really good. And then they decided to get crap after that. Young Justice started off really good. First season spectacular. Second season a little bit of a slight change, but still okay. Third season, by the time you got to the third season, you were like, wait, now something right here, but okay. And then by the fourth season, it was just gone. Absolutely gone. Then what else? Then we get My Adventures with Superman. God alone knows that was just terrible. And does anybody even still watch the Harley Quinn animated series? I mean, what even is it about anymore? This is the problem. DC has no direction for anything that they actually want to do. They want to put out anything and expect you to love it. So yeah, like I said before, the question isn't where have all the DC fans gone. The question is, where have all the good DC stories gone? That is what is destroying them. And like usual, they have nobody to blame for it but themselves. Your thoughts on this in the comments. If you have a different opinion, I'd love to hear it. If you like the video, be sure to hit that thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Ring the notification bell and if every time I put out a new video. And I shall see you all next time. Take care.